Gents, make sure to start the stream early, just so everybody could at least get in here before I started talking a lot. Good morning, though. Good morning, Sandollar. Good morning, Gary. Shallick. Good morning, Gary again. Good morning, Devontae. Yo, yo, yo. What's up with the famous yo, yo, yo entry? Guys, big focus today is around this area, as posted in the Discord the other night, or other afternoon, I guess. I keep telling myself, I was like, I'm going to post like late Sunday night, so everybody gets it late. And then I get so anxious, and I post at like lunchtime every Sunday, because I get so anxious for the next week. I want to get all the information out there like as much ahead of time as possible, so people have time to prepare. But essentially, guys, our main focus is going to be this area today. It was kind of an interesting thing, because in my post, if you guys go to it and read it yourself, the big thing we were focused on was when we fell from all-time high after hitting multiple targets, because we've deleted some targets now. They pulled back under this area, and then you can see they had the lower open here. I'll zoom in now. Lower open under this area, so that was one indicator. Then they had lower highs under that area. Then they had more lower highs under the area, even after a higher open, right? Another lower high. This is still lower. So that's a really big focus at the beginning of this week. But the funny thing now, if I delete all those lines out, the funny thing now, and if you look in our pre-market, we're going to be starting in the 685.50s. So we're actually already in the middle of this area. So they've already opened up higher again. This is an exact copycat move of this. We got another gap up. So we're going to be starting somewhere in the middle of that range. Sorry, I was letting my dog in. So yeah, that's the main focus this morning. I do have other charts ready as well, like IWM. Where are they at? Tesla. That's not Tesla. Tesla. Tesla's a good one. They're going to be starting pretty flat in comparison. And then what was the other one I posted? Was it Microsoft? I think I just like Microsoft because it's so much lower than its other weights. Market's open though, guys. We are starting right in the middle of that area I was just discussing with you all. Also, one more thing to note. One more second, let me shut my door. One more thing to note too is the areas after we rejected, like after we hit lower high here, lower high here, lower open, all that good stuff. Both times we fell, we went to the same level. So 680 is kind of a big barrier as well. So you're kind of like between the top of that level and this level is our true range. Everything else in between is just kind of to help you out a little bit because you don't want to just be out here, you know, not knowing what to do next. But another cool thing you can do today, because you can't always do this. Am I allowed to message startup? Yes, I am. Actually, I think I'm going to mess this one up so I don't fuck up my... Which is funny, we're messing up our default chart now. Let's see here. One more thing we can do... Oh, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Is you go from your previous day close, from your Friday session, so Friday's close, to today's open. And this is also a good little system you can do. If you didn't have all the other levels ready, or let's say maybe you didn't have time to read the prep on Sunday, you were busy, you know, I would definitely just draw this. Keep it simple. It's just drawing the fib. Or the gap. It's just drawing the fib. It's just drawing the gap. It's just drawing the fib, man. But yeah, good morning, guys. I didn't even share the stream link around, so that's a big problem. I'll get that sent out now, though. But if you guys have any questions about this morning's game plan on SPY, please let me know. I do have the options chain up on my other monitor, so I will be watching. And let me share the link around, because I forgot to do that entirely. I forgot to link the link. All right, link is sent. We are good to go, guys. I can focus back on the stream again. Good morning, Dr. J. Man, for a second, because I said A-L-E-S, I was about to say good morning, Alice, but that's not Alice. That's Alexis. Good morning, Alexis. How is it going, brother? Let me remove these arrows. That's probably impossibly annoying to look at. So right now we're kind of expecting us to pull back to, and I kind of want to start asking you guys these questions if that's okay. But let's say we thought this was going to pull back because it's rejecting this. Where does this most likely go? And remember what I just drew. It's most likely going to go to its 50% overnight gap. So 683.83 should be your main concern for where this is most likely going. And then after that, you have this area. And if this and this previous day close break, then I think we're all in clear understanding that lower highs will be had a little bit after that if they're not already dumping, right? So we'll have to see what's happening there. But I'm very happy to see the analysis has been very spot on. You guys just got to be patient. I see some people trying to overtrade. And that's one of my main topics when we're in here is talking so much about not trading every day, not needing to trade 3 times a day. Like, that's just insanity. Options trading is not supposed to be your main source of, you know, what you do on the market. And if it is, then that's kind of a problem. Chilling fam, watching Tesla with you. Yeah, I have it on my other monitor with my options chain for SPY because I want to keep SPY on the stream. But I am watching it though. Bit of a flat move from them since the open. Oh, IWM was the other one. I'm so stupid, bro. I was like, what was the other chart I posted? But that's why I couldn't remember it. I posted IWM just because it's the exact same TA as SPY and Triple Q. Are the numbers different on the chart? Are the candlesticks different? Are the gaps different? Is the volatility even different? Yes. All of that is yes. But the TA is the exact same. And you can see it here on Triple Q too. Like, erase these lines in your head, right? You have the same resistance popping up. You have the same support popping up. It's the same exact thing. It's just 2 completely different parts of the market. That's going to be more heavy tech, oriented with all of its movements, whereas this is going to be more of a mixture of sectors. By the way, guys, we can see our tech chart did gap up. Let's also look at our weights at the very beginning, just to get a good kind of starting context point. What the hell? Where did everything start? And we could see discretionary, tech, even healthcare. But these two specifically, if you look over at that left side of my screen, these are up over $2. The rest of these are not down or up even $1. So we can already say tech and discretionary's move to the upside has definitely helped the overall market start up higher. Now it's Can tech continue on higher by itself, or are they waiting for the rest of the sectors to go up to also let SPY rally a little bit? Or are they all about to pull back and we're going to see some larger red candles? We'll have to see, because right now they are rejecting bad levels, right? Triple Q did a good job of breaking out of its recent highs, but they're still under that 635.75. Whereas our SPY chart, same story, it's just different numbers again. Like I said, different numbers, different part of the chart, but it's the same TA. They're up into the resistance with the gap up, just like Friday. If you look here, Friday did the same thing. Lower high, and they came. This is a very like calculated day. There's nothing wrong with this kind of day. That's why I get so frustrated with people when they're like, I have to trade the first 30 minutes. My brother in Christ, the best trades happened like during lunch, after lunch. There was even a dip by end of day, which we talk about that happening so many times because of the different phases of the day and how it works. And it's not going to happen every day, but you can definitely get a good opportunity if you see it. So that's why I just get so frustrated when I see people trading like so much in one day, or they're blowing their load and they're losing their opportunities. I think it pisses me off not because they're missing out like on, not because they're like, oh, they can't contain themselves, they can't sit still. You know, it's like a kid with an iPad, like they can't sit still without it. It's like that, but I think what frustrates me more is like I don't think they truly understand or take the time to look further in the chart and be like, wow, look what I missed. If I wouldn't have been such a iPad kid, you know, I would have had plenty of time to do great. You know, I would have had plenty of opportunity in front of me to attack. And even now, like right here, I could sit here and tell you, yo, this thing is like 100% bearish if it rejects this, you know, and there would still be someone who's sitting there like, oh, I don't think that can happen. You know, you're always going to have that doubt. You're always going to have like that little bit of, you know, that it's like the angel on your one shoulder, the devil on your right shoulder, and they're like both arguing with each other. That's like you inside of your trade discussion with yourself, but you need to mute those voices and just focus on what's actually on the screen. Right? If I sit here last night and I was like, man, if we gap up and I get a good push through 686.13 and I get a good hold after that, maybe even, you know, towards the beginning of the first phase of the day, I'm buying the dip. You know, I'm hell yeah, I'm buying that. If I see a good rejection here, I'm going to start shorting that. Like if you set that plan and then the next day it happens and you don't even think about taking an opportunity on it, what was the point of even planning, you know? At least take a mental rep or a paper trade or something, you know? Track a contract. Oh, this moved 28% where I would have taken profits if I was in the, you know, just something like just any kind of rep. But I think that's where a lot of people miss a lot of their growth, is they think they have to get their load blown in the first 30 minutes of the day. It's like, dude, you have all day. That's why I talk about the phases of the day. If you've ever seen those videos or talked about that with me in the group before or in my streams, you know, the phases of the day can save you because it honestly reminds you, oh, there is energy left in the tank. Or maybe you're sitting there lunchtime and you're like, damn, we did a lot today. I should probably sit on my hands because we just rallied like crazy. You know, I probably shouldn't have to look at taking some late trades after something's already happened. So it's just about squeezing out the most quality trades that you guys can. And sometimes trading less is how you do that. Morning. Here to like and support. I appreciate you, Eric. Aloha. Good to see you back, SF. Hope you've been good. It was nice reading the mess. I saw aloha in the chat and I was like, oh my god. Core memory just split open inside my brain. There was one day I had 24 trades. That is crazy. 24 is a lot. Hey, we've all had those moments, though. I'm not going to sit here and act like some saint or angel and like I'm some perfect being. Like, no, I think we've all done that before. Like, we've all had a day or two, maybe even multiple days. You know, maybe we're not proud to talk about it, but where we've made that many trades. Also, guys, in the stream this morning, I talked about if we did continue to pull back under this level, where are we going? I was kind of quizzing the stream, and we talked about where would be our first target if this did keep pulling back. Call out or not, I'm just telling it how it is. This pulled back into that 50% already. So, guys, what do you think it can do if it breaks the 50%? We talked about this as well. If this was broken, we're probably going to see a test of somewhere between 683 and 682. So we got about $1 range where this can potentially bounce or give us more context before selling off more. What the hell is that? A time level. Well, let's not mess with time. I was just trying to grab the purple thing, but so it might hit this. It might just settle right here. It might range trade in between these two levels for all we know, and then it dumps later towards the end of the first phase of the day. But before 10:30, I will try to look for one more good move in this market. And if you don't see one before 10:30 CST, 11:30 EST, I would definitely be looking for some sort of consolidation range to happen between that 682 and 683, or sorry, 682 and 683. That was right. Yeah, consolidation range, and after that 11:30 EST, 10:30 CST mark, you might actually see another move happen. And if it just ranges all lunchtime, then you could definitely still look for a good end of move day. And when I say end of day, I mean the last 2 hours of the day. I don't care what time zone you're in. Last 2 hours of the market. So for CST, that'd be 1 to 3. For EST, that'd be what? 2 to 4? Did I enter the gap fill? No. I don't scalp that. It's too early. but I'm going, like I said though, you have to sit here and go over this shit with yourself like you are going to, because if you aren't, then you're just fooling yourself. You have to. And I know I sound like I'm angry, but you gotta be passionate about it, or you are actually fucking yourself over. If you just sit here all willy nilly and you're like, oh, missed another one, like you're just turning missing trades into a fun little chore for yourself. That doesn't sound fun to me. But you do need to be sitting here getting on to yourself. Okay, yeah, it did go down. It did test that. Oh, it did continue under 685.19. It did hit the 50% of the gap up. Awesome. Also, I don't like to short. I don't like to short gap ups that are not like super significant. Let's be honest. That gap up isn't anything that crazy. And I don't mean because of size. I think people are like, well, what size do you need it to be for it to be significant? I mean, how much movement did it get away from what we already know? I've already seen it go up this high before. The end of the day, Friday, it did this. So it going up to this isn't really that special to me, right? But it's still a gap up. So you can't ignore that initial momentum the market's giving us. Also, I'm somewhat aware of this area being a little bouncy, just because I don't know. I mean, if we're being honest, these arrows should be like this. But because a lot of you guys like to scalp, this is the main key area. But in reality, they could get some good bounces here. But there is enough good movement here between 685 and here to get some scalps to the downside in. So that's why I don't want to cut away those trades from people, because that is still feasible. I don't want to sit here and be like, you shouldn't trade that just because Bueller said so. I personally don't think you should be trading already just because it's 8:44. Let's be real here. Anybody telling you that they trade options like profitably, consistently, in the first 20 minutes of the day all the time, I've yet to see someone survive that for more than just a year. And you might think like, oh, but a year's pretty good. Yeah, but they might have just profited by $6 that year. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people who try to popularize trading the first 30 minutes, and I don't know why. They'll sit there and be like, bro, volume, volatility. Yeah, you're right. Volume, volatility. These are great reasons not to be trading it. Personally, the volatility on an options chain just isn't there. Futures traders, that's a different story. They can have at it. They don't have to worry about Greeks and shit. But someone who has to worry about Greeks, you do have to kind of give a shit about the volatility that can mess with the contracts. Meaning, even if it does go down, that doesn't mean your contract is going to go up. Even if it does go up and you're in a call, guess what? That might not be the greatest, because there's too much volatility. There's too many people buying and selling at higher prices than that, lower prices than that, because they don't really know what's going on, because they're all freaking out at the open. That's very common. So do you want to have to trade with a bunch of idiots who are like messing with the quotes, you know, and you're trying to get your quote and get your good entry and stuff? You're trying to keep it all good and be calm. You know, it's going to fuck with you. And you're a liar if you say it wouldn't mess with you. That's like saying I could go to war and I'm not scared. Like, you're a fucking liar. Thanks, B. Missed all of you. Good morning. What's up, Garden? Yeah, we missed you too. Sorry, I've just been ranting this morning, but that's pretty common, I guess. What's up, Alexis? Where my Tesla updates at? I actually, it's funny because in my post I almost typed, guys, don't expect us to hit 465 in one day. It's not even 9 o'clock and it's hitting 465. By the way, how was everybody in the stream? How did y'all do this weekend? How did everyone feel? Anything cool this weekend? Anybody get up to anything no good? What's up with that? Sorry, guys. Typing in the Discord, I had to update a couple things. Because Spy did some shit already. Tesla's doing some shit already, so I had to make sure those were somewhat updated. Yeah, Tesla's on a run right now. 467 right now, almost. Excuse me. Blue Jays lost the World Series. My heart broke. Took Dodgers to 7, though. You're telling me the Dodgers won the World Series? Dude, this is a great year to not watch baseball. Tesla, sheesh, I was too slow on it. Yeah, I'll be honest, I was too. They were voting on Elon's pay package this week. Bro, do you remember that in the very beginning when most of us in here started trading? Man, I forgot all about that. So in his pay package, are they going to be updating it to like give him more? Or what? I remember that one time he had to drive like crazy engagement or something. And then he got like the fattest fucking raise ever. That was years ago though. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even more. That was a while ago. $1 trillion overall given in like 8 phases, I think. Fair enough. Bro, just you typing that's crazy, by the way. $1T. We're dealing with the trillions already. It's insane. Remember, guys, we are looking for any kind of hold of this area. Like I said, you really could move these arrows to like this, you know, outside of your 682s and outside of your 686s here to kind of see that this is more of your range and understand that, you know, you could get some good bounces here if we pop back up, but we don't retake anything that's special. Like, you know, we get over the 50% gap and we get over the previous day high. We hit this against, you know, we hit our heads against this. This could be seen as your range if we don't see any moves outside of it. I hope that makes sense because we're not trying to confuse you with the arrows. That's why I don't like to put them up too much because it almost makes you think like, oh, I already missed the trade, but it's like, no, that was just from there. You know, from here it's a different plan. You're not going to still go off of just this, you know, when you're a few dollars down. That's just for like from the open context. But let me know if that helps you guys or if that's somewhat making sense. And honestly, if nothing's making sense, please take time to go to the Levels and Swings channel. Very big, detailed post there for anybody who wants to take time to try to, you know, learn that or go through that. But I've been going through the analysis and the breakdown and the updates of the previous analysis post. You know, I try to do that so you can actually connect, you know, what's indicating to us what's bullish, indicating to us what's bearish. Not just on the smaller time frames, but on your larger time frames too. So I heavily... I don't even know what I'm trying to say here, but I really, really want everybody in here to go check that. So if you haven't been checking those posts, please do. I can't promise you, but I almost promise you that they are going to be very helpful outside of any of your already set preparations that you do for the market. Good morning. What's up, Shaq? What is up? Hopefully you guys had a good weekend and a decent night's sleep into the Monday morning. I know Mondays can be a little for some of us. Can I cover a little about contract selection? Yes, I can. Which, again, I'll always go over whatever topic we're going to go over, but I'll also link you to something that I probably already have. Because, like, in this instance, I actually have a whole, like, couple videos on this exact topic that are from streams as well. But I'll go over it again, though. And we could look at it real quick, just because SPY's kind of in a spot where it's either going to start dumping in a single direction, and it's going to be hard to catch unless you're just trading light, or it's going to start consolidating here to where we can start catching some retest trades pretty soon. But either way, this is still bearish from the open, but we're kind of keeping our eyes out because there is a chance 682, like this area here, could also be a bounce for this chart. So just keep that in mind. Also, we have just gone down from the open, so I don't know if it's smart to just grab a short that late. It's almost like you're just late as hell. So looking for some upside here, but not for bulls. Looking to see if it's going to reject this. If it gets over this level here, then we're definitely expecting more bulls to the highs here. Hopefully that makes sense short term, but let me go over the contract selection. So in my scalping, and this is different for swing trading, Devontae. So if you want to do a swing trading breakdown, we can do that in like a swing stream one day so other people can catch that as well. But for like scalping, I'm getting in this contract, I'm getting out within the next 20, 30 minutes. Right? I hate when people are like, but scalping's for people who trade it for under an hour. My brother, if you're holding a scalp for 59 minutes and you only have one contract, you need to find God. You need to go to the doctor. You need to something needs to change in your life, because sitting here and holding a contract for 60 minutes on a contract that is supposed to be held for not that long at all, that's a big issue. I hate when people are like, bro, my quotes aren't moving well because my contract sucks. Like, bro, I got in this 2 hours ago and I was trying to scalp it. It's like, brother, what? Like, you're blaming the market. You're blaming the quotes. You're blaming the contract, but you're not blaming yourself for not understanding why that's happening to you. Like, that always blows my mind. So scalping. Let's say we're looking at like a same day. We'll just look at the same days for now. On SPY, you don't actually have to open this up too much, but on some you need to open this up a lot more when you're looking at like your swing charts. But let's say, for instance, let's look at this. Let's say I was thinking, I think we're gonna hold here and we're gonna bounce to 684. Then I'm gonna go see what's that 684 strike at, because since that's my target, it's not that far out, anything like that. But that's not gonna just instantly be my one indication of buying that contract, right? Which on SPY, you don't have to worry about this too much unless it's like a super volatile part of the day or there's like a news event. But you should click on this, and if there's any big gap between your mid quote and the outside of that quote, do not touch that fucking contract, right? You see how there's like a $4 gap like a $4 gap, or actually it's only $2 now. It was $4. It's hard to find on SPY because SPY has good quotes, but you'll see chains like that if you're not trading SPY. And it has like a really wide range. Make sure you're paying attention to this. You're doing a limit order. If you're looking at SPY, you could probably just do a market order, so you don't have to worry about getting convenience of price, but more or less just wanting to get in. Knowing that you're going to get in no matter what. So that's a big deal. 2 is delta gamma. I used to do like a math for this, but I've just been eyeballing it now for like my scalp contracts. For my swing trades, I really don't look at this too much. But if anything, and I wish I could draw like a shape on the stream for you guys. But basically, imagine there's an invisible line. Like you see how it goes from contracts that are out of the money to in the money. I mean, out of the money here, and then they go in the money here, and they change color. Imagine there's like a big golden line between those color changes on both sides, right? Right here, and then right here for the puts, right? You really need to imagine that the further away you go from that line, the dumber the contract you were looking at, right? I truly mean that. The weaker the contract, it's not going to get you that far, right? If I left you out at C and I left you a contract that was 690, you'd die the next hour, right? If I left you this contract, you'd have water for weeks, right? So the closer you're to that line, the more feasible your contract is, the more it can do, the more ability it has to actually do something if price goes in your favor, which is also a big thing when you're actually entering a trade, because you need to understand, like, okay, do I want to cut this based off of what I see on my chart? And if that's the case, then consistently stick to that. Or do I want to cut percentage based off my contract amount? Which, again, if you're going to do that, consistently do that. Don't just do it one trade and then don't do it the next. So you got to find your sweet spot, whether it's on the chart itself, which that's what I prefer because I like context, or on the contract itself. Or you could kind of just manage both and kind of keep yourself in the safe no matter what trade you're in. But delta to gamma is big. I would say your gamma is one of your probably most slept on Greeks in the entirety of the stock market, in my opinion. I think it's amazing how many people are so scared of theta, but they don't understand what gamma does for them. Gamma is literally what feeds your contract. This shit is feeding your contract. So when something goes up and you're in a call, what you're feeling is that extrinsic value of your gamma and your delta pouring profits into it's the extrinsic value of your contract, right? So the intrinsic value would be how much you entered it for. The extrinsic is how much you're profiting or losing, which, I mean, really just profiting. So make sure you're paying attention to that, though. Let's say you're trading a contract that's really far from that golden line that I was talking about. You're not going to have a high gamma to delta ratio, which is not going to, in turn, be good for your contract. This is like the fuel, right? If you're worried about theta on scalping, stop trading, because theta is not your problem. And I'm tired of people complaining about theta on a scalp contract, because theta is not actually what's tearing you up. A lot of the time I see people buy really shitty contracts and they have a weak gamma to delta ratio. 9 times out of 10, that's what I see in people's problems. And a lot of the one-on-ones I've had, that has been the problem. They'll be like, yo, why are my contracts so shit? I'm like, dude, your quotes were like kind of wide, and there wasn't a good delta to gamma ratio to actually fuel this contract if it did go your way, right? So that's a really big thing, is just kind of making sure you're close to that golden line, understanding that it's not just the contract you're trading. You're literally trading the chart. You need to watch the chart, but it's good to be mindful of what your contract's doing on that chain. But yeah, so in terms of scalping, that's really all you need to be looking at. You don't need to be looking at, on SPY at least, you don't need to be looking at volume and open interest here. And you can see I have volume, open interest, delta, gamma, theta, bid ask. That's all I have. And I really only have theta here for when I look at swing stuff. I do not have that here for scalping. Same for the volume and open interest. I'm really just looking at this. I'm making sure the bid and ask isn't super fucking wide so I don't get screwed. And then I get in. I do what I want. And then for your swings, we can go over that at an actual swing stream, but it's a different conversation. You've been trapped before? Yeah. And a lot of the people that I see like enter bad contracts, they'll be like, yeah, man, I bought calls and it went up $2. Why didn't I profit super crazy? Like, I made 20%. They're sitting there expecting to make like 100% every time it moves. It's like, huh? That always gets me too. It's like, you need to understand you're trading options. Like, this isn't like a parlay. Like when you said a parlay and you have like insane odds, it's like, yeah, if you hit a parlay, you would make money because that's insane odds. These aren't insane odds, right? You're just trying to set up good risk reward for yourself. If you're sitting here trying to create a good scratch off for yourself, that's your issue. It has nothing to do with the market. It's how you think about the market. That's why I have to get on to people too, man, because it's not about how many trades can you catch in a day. Like, sometimes it's like, dude, how many trades did you keep yourself to this week? Were you able to keep yourself to just 1 trade every other day, 2 trades every other day? Like, that's a flex, because that tells me you're squeezing out the quality of each trade or the quality of each opportunity in front of you. Actually sitting there and waiting for a good trade, not just like hoping. It's just weird. Also, it would suck if you made like a bunch of mistakes or didn't really follow any kind of strategy or any kind of like procedure for yourself, and then you won on that trade. And I told I think Benny this not even like a week or so ago, but let's say you take a good trade and you follow up, you have good habits, like that's really good. This enforces good habits, it enforces good muscle memory. But let's say you don't really follow anything or procedure or strategy and you take a trade and you profit, If you would have lost that trade, you know, it's just like, oh, none of this shit made sense. But if you won on that trade, you'd think, oh wow, this works. Oh wow, I'm lucky. Oh wow, this is great. I'm going to keep following those parameters, and you're going to trick yourself into making more mistakes down the road. It's weird. Hey, speak of the devil. I overslept grinding the charts too hard last night. Oh God, no. You're good, man. You're good. If anything, and I've gone over it in the stream a few times now. If anything, you're here perfectly in time. You know, you might have missed the dump under 685.20s into the, you know, halfway point of the gap up. You might have missed it from there into here. But honestly, a lot of the better moves are going to be coming from outside of 682 and 686. Anything in between, kind of considered a range. That's why I've also kind of been sitting here using the potential bounce into the 50% as an example, because now that we started higher and actually made it down to where we gapped up from, there's a good chance you see a resurgence move into this 50% if this doesn't break. So if you see this break, you see some good lower highs set up here or maybe even up here, and then we see it push down again, those will both be indications that we're trying to go lower towards 680, which again, if you guys need more context on that, that was where we were a little hard of passing past last week. We couldn't get past this at all. Every time we dumped or had a lower open or lower highs or anything, could not make it past 680 basically. So that'll be our main target for the day if this does dump a little lower. But I'm already happy to see some of the indications we talked about from the pre-market prep already starting to work out. We talked about if we see anything in this area, this is how our arrows originally were. If we see anything in this area suffer or have weakness or break down under this or any lower highs here, you know, it's going to definitely make us think, oh, the overnight 50% gap needs to be hit, which I guess I'll just leave all that. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, good looks, guys. Sorry, I'm running out of breath trying to update this, but I want to make sure everybody understands what we're looking for so you guys can make these decisions on your own. I like setting up this stuff, but I really, really enjoy when you guys are like, yeah, man, I bought the dip on 682 and I got a quick call into that. Or honestly, I'm even proud of when I see people take risk on good procedure trades, and even if they lose, they're like, well, I cut it because it didn't do this or didn't do that. It's like, okay, nice. They knew when to cut. Like, it's not always just, oh, great, they made money. It's like, sometimes it's like, damn, nice. They lost, but they knew what to do. 11% loss, nice, good shit. You know, it's like, not the end of the world. But yeah, Devontae, let me see if I can find that video for you. Let me know if that was helpful, though, if you had any other questions for that. I know I just covered scalping, but it's just because we're, you know, actually here. Actually, I have a few, but this is the main one, I think. Which, again, I believe this is just a clip from stream at one point. Yeah, it's probably just me ranting. But that's essentially what I cover. And there's a bunch of other videos, too, that are in the members-only section that cover that as well. But like I said, I don't like to just sit here and be like, yo, check out this video then, and not explain it. It's like, I also want to explain it and link you to the thing so you can kind of get a bit of both. Very helpful. Awesome, awesome. But yeah, remember, stick to that golden line. Try to stick as close as you can to that. Guys, we might be seeing just a continuation down, honestly. I know I talked about the possibility of holding that and bouncing, but I think we also need to take into account that there hasn't really been any buyers hold up yet. Like right now, Devontae, if you were looking at contracts from under this area, which I don't know if I'd try to jump into this late, but I guess you could if you get light. You'd probably be looking at 681s or 680s. You don't need to be looking outside of that. Which those are actually both super affordable. Loads of volume, loads of interest. The gamma is a little bit lower on the 680, a 0.08 compared to a 0.09 on 681. But yeah, that always amazes me. I think that's the one thing in scalping that's always made me just like chuckle. It's like when I see people complain about theta, and it's like, why are you even looking at theta? You're scalping. That hasn't even been mathematically affecting your contract yet. But then they'll sit there and ignore how like their delta or gamma works, which is super important. Oh, I did mean to ask y'all, is this time change messing with anybody? We did have the time change on Sunday at like 2 a.m. CST, 3 a.m. EST. They rolled back an hour, so of course it gets dark outside a little bit earlier. But did that mess with anybody? Anybody like feel weird during the time change? Fallback is always better, but I still don't like it. Honestly, yeah, he's so right though. Like it's like, damn, it fucks with me, but he is right. It is the better of the two, in my opinion too. I like that it's darker, a little longer. Yes, LOL. I love the time change. Oh, my bad, Gary. I'll get to yours first. So far, the only comfortable trade I've seen for me was the retest of pre-market low, but was too close to 683. Okay, yeah. I mean, in that instance, though, you got to be a little bit more bearish than bullish because you know we had the higher open and it broke a level to go bearish, tested a bearish target, and didn't just test it, literally just traded through it like it didn't exist. So, like, pretty much from here, it was just like, all right, yeah, that's bearish. And then it was like from here, it's like, oh, shit. And now we're at a part of the chart where it's like, all right, is this going to slow down or what? You know, so anybody chilling right now, respect. I love the time change. Fallback is always better. Hell yeah, I prefer the standard time. The extra hour ruined. Theta on my options. Theta on your real life options. On your life. Definitely affected me. I missed the market. Oh, that is true. Yeah. I mean, you said you were grinding, though. I feel like I would have slept in a second, too. On accident, of course, not meaning to. It messes with me. I'm up at 5 a.m. now. Yeah, I'll be honest. This morning, I was up stupid early, like 3 or 4 different times. For no reason. And then I don't know what it was. But it was like 5. Like 5:20. And I was like, all right, man. Time to start cooling down and get tired for bed. And then I was looking at the time. I was like, what? Like hour change, bro. It felt like 3 hours were changed. Thought I woke up late because it was light out. Fuck, I'm late. Yeah, time change is weird. We are all so screwed on the next one. But for now, we're all safe. LOL didn't mark the 50%. Oh, fair enough. If you ever don't feel like drawing too many lines, because I do get that question a lot too. Some people will be like, well, what do you do if you have too many levels on your screen? You just want to focus on just the important. It's like, dude, then just fucking delete them. Just have the 50% then. That is the important level of these. If you can't eyeball the previous day close or the current day open, there's something wrong with you. Like, that's not a big deal. You should be able to eyeball that without drawing it. So that should that's something you could take off your chart. Look how much cleaner it is. You know, or if you're someone who just doesn't care, then just add it back. It's not the biggest deal. It's all really personal preference. I could honestly look at either because it's not, because in my head I know that the important area is like this and like this. So I'm looking for things like outside of that or inside of this to kind of tell me something beforehand. You know, you're using the context of important areas. So if you're relying on, oh, I had too many levels on my screen, it's like, then you're really not paying attention to what you even have on your own screen, in my opinion. Like, you should be able to just kind of like look past that. Now, I understand when some people say like there's too many and there's like literally a level every fucking dollar. Like, yeah, that's something. Which we almost have that here. I am pretty zoomed in though. And we'll see if some bearish setups happen. If we still see rejections under this, or even if we see a pop-up and another rejection under this, we have to assume sellers still want to bring this back into this area to try and break this again. Again, that's if that doesn't happen just right here in the next 10, 20, 30 minutes. Because by then we should see if this is going back up or if it's trying to sit here a little longer. Either way, though, I'm happy to at least be, you know, you should never sit here and be like, I like being correct about all my call-outs. It's like, no, it's more or less just like you should be happy that you're going through the procedure of, oh, it's kind of 50-50 here. Oh, it's definitely a little bit more bearish here. And then seeing it pull back, like that's a good sign, yes, because you're doing things correctly. But also pick up on, like, what adds to that. Like, if I'm bearish here and then it breaks to 50%, am I taking profit in my little hypothetical, or am I happy that that's breaking and I want to see it get to the next one? You know, it's like, where are you? The dogs want to eat earlier. I didn't even think about that. My kids woke up at 6 a.m. instead of 7. Oh my god. Actually, you just reminded me of a story. It's a little embarrassing because it's like clearly my brain was not on. I don't know what grade I was in. It was one of the first grades ever where you, like, start riding the bus to school. It's like junior high, like 6th or 7th grade. But I remember the time changed one time, and without anybody in my house knowing, I got up and I, like, put on my clothes to go to school, put on my backpack. I like got all my stuff ready. I went out and I sat at the bus stop, and it was 5 a.m. I sat there for like 40 minutes, and I was like, man, am I late or are they late, or do I get to skip school today? And I remember I walked back into my house, and my mom was there, and she saw me, and she's like, what are you doing? She's like, it is 10 in the morning. What are you doing? I was like, I thought I was going to school. Played myself. Also, it's kind of cool to go check the 1 minute sometimes. I know some of you just hate the 1 minute, but it is kind of fun to look at because on the 5 minute, it's just a wick. But I like to sometimes go to see, like, what it actually was. It's kind of nice you had, like, a bearish hammer there, and then you see this pop up and retake it. Because a lot of people don't understand that either. When you see break retakes, this is information. Like, an invalidation of a bear is a validation of a bull. Write that down. And vice versa. If we see an invalidation of a bearish trade setting up here, like, it's not surprising that we got such a fat-ass green candle on our 1 minute after that happened. It shouldn't be some stumbly little candle that doesn't go that far. Like, it probably will be some large candle because it shouldn't be doing that. It looked like it was going to be bearish. More people are probably too bearish. It retakes. Goes up. But we did go up, smack 683 rejected, so keep in mind we could be looking for new lows here. Also, shout out to React and Garden. Y'all should all be going out to, like, your 15 or even your 30 minute every now and then. I don't know if I'd sit on them all day. They're definitely fun to just throw on your screen and leave them there. But I would definitely check on those every now and then. But it does look like we should get more downside with the rejection of 683. We'll see if that ends up actually happening or not, though. Of course, another invalidation, like I just explained to you all, another invalidation of this would probably bring some move up into this 50% gap level here, 683.83. So you're either about to get new lower day or about to see a hold that probably helps us go back up a little bit, but nothing crazy. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Generally color code my levels so that too many levels don't confuse me. I have seen a lot of people do that, and I'll be honest, a lot of the female traders in my chat have done that, and I've always been like, damn, I don't know how y'all do that. I don't have the patience to do that every time, and honestly, I feel like I would forget something. But I'm honestly so jealous every time I see some of my traders show me that. They'll be like, look, this level's for this level's for this level's for that. I'm like, what? I'm like, color coding? It never struck me once, you know? Now, I think people who color code, I'm jealous of those people because I wish my brain worked that way. I think color coding your levels is, like, genius. I'm a long scalp with stops and probably no better than feeling like... No 1 minute slander, it saved my... Oh, no, I'm not slandering it. I just know some people don't like it, but I like to explain why they don't like it. Some people don't like it because it moves too much, but it's like, no, you don't like it because it moves too much. You don't like it because you can't control yourself while it's moving like that. Don't blame the 1 minute. And there's that new low, guys, as I told you guys we would most likely get. Again, we're just using context of the fact that we've been bearish since open. No sign of life by buyers around the 50% of the gap up. And on the 5 and the 1 minute, we're getting very clear rejections of 683 with a bearish hammer. So we'll see if this continuation actually happens. But I am happy to see the new low of day occur. Now we'll see if we get some follow through on that. That's a different story, as we all know. Also, good to see you in here, Nomley. I know you've been here already, but I'm just happy to see you in here. I color code my line. Oh. I went ahead and posted my trade review for my first futures trade and results and review. Oh, yeah, I'm happy about that, man. Also, I think it's important because a lot of the things that you did or are going to do in your futures trades are still going to apply to things people can do on other charts as well, so I was happy to see that too. Because that always gets me too. I see some people like, bro, Forex is different, futures are different, equities are different. It's like, yeah, maybe how they're traded are different, but your strategies are all the exact same. You shouldn't be changing anything up on that. But great work though, Eric. I am also just happy to see that futures channel have a couple people in there. I don't want that to be people's main focus, but I mean, if people want to join in on that, they can do whatever they want. It's their Discord. I just work here. But I am happy to see that getting used. I was like, all right, these guys want a new channel. Let's see how long till this one dies. But y'all done a really good job on that channel so far. I like what Robert Taylor just said too. Really good context, because I was kind of alluding to that in the price action side of things, but I really like that you said it with the news and stuff to kind of pile on to it. But he said, honestly, with all the news over the weekend, you'd expect us to be up a lot, but we are red. Could be a sign of a pullback / chop period is among us. And this right there, Robert Taylor, I don't know if you read my post in the chat the other day, but I'll go over it here in the stream now. Because that right there is the key. My friend. Good job, Robert Taylor, for saying that. Where are we at? Oh, so I didn't stream like the last 3 days of last week, but I still made sure I came in here and said, guys, should see some slowdown soon. Because there was, and then I posted 4 reasons why. I gave my 13 reasons why the market should slow down. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean bearish. It just means can give us a bigger... I'll give you an explanation. But if you take a gap up from this day, we hit multiple targets. From our already set targets of the week, we blasted through 2 of them. Blasted through multiple, right? And even from our backwards from on the daily, if you draw a fib from here to here, it gives you these forward targets. We had literally hit all 3. And then I gave you a 5th reason on my post the other night. Or the other day. I keep saying night. I literally posted it during the day. Where's it at? Okay, right here. Actually, I say it first sentence. The reason for my post in here on Trade Floor for a possible slowdown was because of the first gap down in over a week occurred. Finally showing some slowdown for short-term sellers / profit takers. Notice I'm not just saying it's fucking bearish. Everybody grab onto your hats. This doesn't mean bearish, but it can at least give us more warning to the potential of sellers than before when we were only experiencing gap up days / current day open holds. The last 2 days candlesticks are confusing to some because it was a gap down into a red day and then a gap up red day to end the week. Also, of the move up, the 50% level is 676.50. So there's a little room below with a clear trigger to do so. The break of 680s is stated above. So, and this is what I was alluding to in my post, this is our key area, but it's funny how last week gave us the context that we could actually move all the way to 680 and this still would be able to consolidate, right? We actually need to break 680s for our larger seller moves down. That's the funny part. But I like what Robert just said, because what he just did was kind of the same thing. It's giving us context on why are we not up more, and then seeing how this is how we're reacting to it. It's like, maybe we do need to slow down. It's just more reasons are piling on for slowing down. And I think when people hear me say that, they think, oh, he's bearish. Like, no. It's just I could see us pulling back to good levels that we already see as support, and then I could see us sticking between that larger area from which we pulled back from and in which we're holding. Hopefully that makes sense, though. But thank you, Robert, for pointing that out as well, because that is a really big point. I added how I used to be a long-term options trader and how it didn't work out. LOL, like you said this morning. Well, unless you're Mel. Oh, yeah. Yeah, unless you're Mel and you could just, like, Bernie Madoff your gains. Bernie Madoff and Photoshop your gains, yeah. I wish I had that power, bro. Photoshop some gains and then just, like, turn it into real dough and then just, like, use it. Like all those fucking people do. How they'll have you believe their life is. Yeah, man, I'm making like $60,000 every day. You're not doing that? Damn. Yeah, you can't. That's why I don't like social media a lot too, because you'll have yourself thinking everybody's doing great except you. It's like, what? When you're struggling, and then when you're doing good, there's a chance you have an ego thing behind you, and it's like, kind of evil on both sides of the story. If you're like a casual social media user and you're just like, scrolling, that's one thing. But sitting there and taking things to heart does not help you. What's up, Sandollar? Yeah, I could take a look at RSP since we charted it, brother. Yeah, I think I was saying I would like to see it over 188.50s if it was going to try to go up more. If not, then it probably will come back down to this level. And then, of course, the obvious. And look at that. It didn't even get over. Actually, they opened right there. Jesus. Yeah, nice little dumpy poo. 185.50s, 185.12, 184.13. I mean, they're eyeballing all three. Good rejection of the next level, too. They didn't just dump more. They actually chilled for a little bit. See, this is a slowdown. Another good slowdown. And there's so many ways to measure how do I know if a slowdown is still bearish or not. You could go from the break of the level to the low and then hope it stays under the 50. And if it gets above the 50, higher probability that it's trying to go back up. That's one way. But it's just find your thing. Stick to it. Good work, though, Sandeller. I did have fun charting this because I hadn't looked at it a whole lot. I made it easy on myself, though. I just focused on the gaps, the move down, which that's why this level is so important. And then I marked the demand of the recent low. So if they did go lower, where would they go? Good looks, though. I always like when you guys like share a chart, because I ask all the time. I'm like, guys, share a chart, share a ticker. I'll go look at it. And then no one does. So I do appreciate that. I like looking at different charts. New low of day, guys. We called it. Where's my... Oh. I was like, where's my Discord? And remember, guys, we can go over this again if you need to, but we were talking about being bearish if we broke under 685. We didn't like how early this was in the morning, but we really liked how this didn't get any strength to get back above it, so that made us more bearish. And now that we're seeing this like consolidation area here not hold up at all, ever since this hammer on both the 5 and the 1 minute, we have been very bearish on this. And we are now $2 down from that. I hope some of these updates help because I'm trying to answer questions and go over this stuff at the same time. Like when I say this should go down, I'm not meaning like let's all 100% ourselves into puts and hopefully we get lucky. Like no, I'm saying like this is bearish as long as it's under 683. If it gets back above this, let's cut that. Like that's what I'm saying when I say that. I don't mean to be like, guys, this is 6,000% bearish. Make sure you're full on in shorts right now. You know, I don't mean it like that. It's just it's very high probability that we do that because of the context that we've already seen. And if you go back through my stream, you'll see me cover it step by step. So please feel free to do so on your own time. Or even right now while we're just sitting here watching this dump more. But I'm happy to see the new low of day. Good job to anybody who's been paying attention to some of these short-term updates. I really hate trading the first like 10, 15 minutes, so I'm very happy to see this pop up because it would have sucked if we had to wait here another hour. I mean, we would have done it anyway, but it is not. Let's be realistic here. It's nicer to get it out of the way. So good work if anybody was paying attention to some of those updates. Anybody who saw that on the 1 or the 5 minute, great work. I really, really liked it when it rejected it with that candle on the 1. And that was like right when we switched to the 1 minute. It was like perfect timing. And then the 5 minute to confirm it a little bit more. And remember, this is all because we gave ourselves areas to base bias off of before the day began. Like caveman thinking. It break this, it should go to this. It break this, it should go to this. It break this, it should go to this. If it holds this after breaking this, it should bump its head against this, you know? Like it's very basic thinking. It's just, can you mark those areas correctly? Can you micromanage yourself into a trade during all that? Like that's the difficult part. I would say setting up the chart is very, very easy. Actually taking advantage of what you set up, that's very difficult. I hope you guys enjoyed some of these updates, though. I try my best to not be like super biased or anything like that while I'm covering them because I'm not trying to be a call-out kind of guy. But I am very happy to try to be a little bit biased when we need to be. Like, hey, it's bearish 683. Don't long that under that. So, good job. I take pride in these levels. I can't believe we're actually going to 680 already, though. I'll be honest with you. I was kind of in the same boat as Robert Taylor there when he said that. It's like, the fact that we did go up more is crazy. But it's not even up more. It's we didn't even go up at all. We opened higher, sure. But did we make any effort beyond that? Nope. Definitely helped. I got into my head to go long, just waited for good entry, then you shook me out of my dumb thinking. You got to think it in a step-by-step process. Like, I guess we could go over that now that I'm not trading again. Like, you see what I mean? I got my 1. I'm already telling myself I'm done. Like, I don't need to even be... Like, I'm still going to pay attention and try to catch, like, notes or, like, some mental reps from this, but you really don't need to overexert yourself. One good trade. I caught almost a $3 move, and I'm happy about that. Like, if you can't be happy about that, there's something wrong with you. But let's go over this. So, I guess let's do this. Like, second. Reading context and order. I guess I'll edit this as I go on. I'm not the greatest explaining teacher person, even though that's literally what I do. So what I was gonna say though is like, you know, let's say we're watching what's a movie we all know. Like I think I need to use like an actual movie or a show or something. What's something everybody in here has seen? Like we've all seen the Titanic, probably. We've all seen fucking. I'm trying to think of another like culture classic. When we open above previous day high and then lose it, it becomes bearish. It always makes me wonder about the outside bar in the daily. Higher opens can be bearish. Exactly. And I really like how you type that first sentence, because I talked about this in the stream again today. We talked about bearish invalidation turns bullish, but in this instance today, we had a bullish validation invalidate, meaning we had something that was supposed to be bullish go bearish. So shouldn't that flip us to being bearish short term? And if we see anything beyond that, that just adds to it, right? That's kind of what I'm about to go over here. I just suck at explaining things. But that was a very good way of putting it, Guarded. Thank you. Yeah, what she said. Closing the gap. Tombstone. Gladiator. Here, let's see. Let's Google it. Star Wars is on there first. Back to the Future, Godfather, Jaws. I need one that has like a very basic storyline, like that we've all seen and it's very easy to understand. Like a baby could understand what I'm about to go over. Like Titanic, see, I said it, it's there. There was room on that damn door, that's all I'm saying. Forrest Gump, Wizard of Oz, Grinch. Oh, Grinch. We're doing Grinch. I can't believe the Grinch wasn't on that list, by the way. Or even the Christmas Story. Like, how do they spam the Christmas Story and that's not even on that list? That's crazy. We're doing the Grinch. We're doing the Grinch. Okay, so in the beginning, the Grinch, let's just remember the plot and all that stuff. In the beginning, the Grinch is a piece of shit, basically. He's an angry person. He terrorizes the fucking people in the village or whatever, or in the town. I can't remember the damn name of the town, but it was a very awesome name. And then as they get closer to Christmas and stuff, they start preparing more for Santa and preparing for all the gifts and all this stuff and all the gift giving and all the joy and stuff. So they're going through all the usual Christmas jollies. And then Christmas hits. He takes all their shit, and then the girl meets him at the top of the hill. We all know the basic like storyline of the Grinch, right? Now let's say I flipped that, right? And at the very beginning of the movie, he gives them back the gifts. What would there be left in that movie? There would be absolutely nothing. We'd be watching a movie about friends having a good time. There'd be no drama. There'd be nothing to actually be entertained by. There'd be no antagonist. There'd be no protagonist. Everybody would be a protagonist at that point, right? There'd be no story, nothing to eat off of. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with context and price action, right? If I sit here and I see something bullish or bearish happen, and then I trick myself and I'm like, well, actually, it's bullish because it can do this. It's like you're kind of like flipping the story backwards, So you got to keep the movie in the correct order, your plot in the correct order, the context in the correct order, and understand that too. And this is why I emphasize these posts so much in my channel. It's not to have let's jerk off Bueller because he's having a good job with his post and he's correct in some of it, good job for him. It's not for a pat on the back. I don't give a shit. It's literally because if I don't do this, I can't do this. Like it just doesn't connect, because you have to have a starting point for our plot, our context, all this stuff we're about to go over. You have to have a starting point. If I just randomly, I'm getting in, guys. Like, imagine I did that. That'd be like I did that. That'd be like I didn't post anything yesterday, and then I just randomly come in here and I'm like, guys, who caught that with me? And you guys are all like, what? You didn't tell us where to start from. What do you mean? That'd be like me doing that, right? You got to do that for yourself. You got to give yourself some sort of prep work the day before, like I do with these posts, because it's very important to me that I understand what is a key area for me and what can I take away from something like that. So let's do this. So reading context and order. So we'll do today's. So we had a higher open, right? And remember, If I was to do this like in our example, and I was trying to do this backwards and fuck this all up, I'd be like, dumped lower, 683 rejection, higher open. It's like none of that is in order. That none of that helps us. We didn't dump lower. We opened higher. Then we dumped. You know, and we actually haven't dumped lower. We're actually, if anybody noticed from my post, we're actually still stuck above 679.93, just like Thursday from the dump, just like Friday from the dump. And just like Friday, we had a higher open, reject the same area again. So we've already confirmed outside of this area and this area is where the next bigger move will come from, and that we can range trade between these two. That's already been confirmed. We have 3 days stuck here. But it's not a bad thing. It's a lot of movement. It's over $6 range. So we can't really complain. All right, back to my example. I keep going off fucking topic. Not really. All right. So we had a higher open. Right? And remember, we really only need to be typing things that indicate what price did or what direction it's most likely headed in. So if something pops up and it's like bearish, then I need to type that. So what created this momentum after the higher open? Rejection, which I have to type my J's in capitalization because I have a J connected to something, so ignore that. Rejection and loss of 685.19 from the higher open. 3. What happened next? So we covered this. We covered the key area it rejected. We covered it, you know, falling from it. On the 1 minute, it probably looks even better. No sign of life by buyers around the next level under. And then comma, your 50% gap up level. That's that 683.83, right? So I think we'll leave this right here for now. And then we'll do another one. So I don't fill up the whole one side of the chart. So that kind of gets us from the open. This covers this, making sense of it. And also just keeping it like cold, because you don't want to sit here and like type out too much because then you'll confuse yourself. You want to keep it calculated and cold. Keep it just super simple. You know, we had something that could have been bullish turned bearish. That created more context for us to go down more, right? Then we got the rejection and the loss of that level from the higher open, not a good sign. And if anything would have popped up above this level to show some buyers were here, we probably wouldn't have been as bearish going down more into the 682s or into this area here to the previous day close, because there would have been something here saying, hey, buyers are present. But they didn't. They actually closed under it. They just kept going. There was no sign of life by buyers around the next level under. Meaning what? Okay, it's just more bearish then. They didn't show any sign of life here. It should just keep going down. And it did. It went down to the very next level. A couple candles later, we hit the previous day close. And then from there, that's where you need to kind of stop yourself and kind of reset. Okay? So like 4. Hit previous day close. Which in this instance was the outer part of range we had on watch. Right? So meaning it hit this. So we need to kind of expect it to either give us a slowdown or some sort of extra signal, right? It just going down lower doesn't help us, right? We need something else to signal to us. And then what do we see here on the 5 and the 1 minute at the 683? Another rejection. So it re-picked up. Oh, okay, so we're still bearish. Nope. So you really got to like cover the context of the story and understand you have to do it in the correct order or you will fuck yourself over. Because now a lot of people in my chat, after seeing the same level hold for multiple days in a row, right? Every time this gets hit now, they're going to start looking for buy the dip higher lows at 680, right? So a lot of people in my chat are going to be looking for buy the dip higher lows here now after shorting to it. Started higher, made it down to here. Now it's, okay, we either buy the dip or we chill and see what's going to happen here. Because if you chill and you're just waiting like I'm about to do, Then you could see if this is going to dump or not. And if not, you're someone who didn't catch the dump, then you could be looking for a buy the dip trade potentially. And remember, not on the first move, wait for your high or low. So it's good you're seeing just a couple green candles first after hitting this. It's always in order too. There's always something next. It's never just random or nothing left. It's like, oh fuck, what do you do next? There's nothing here. No, there's always something next. Oh, a lot of talking. But honestly, I hope that was somewhat helpful. Just to kind of break it down a little bit more, because I know it's not just candlesticks and candlestick patterns. It's like the probabilities of things. I also like that Garden pointed it out. It's like we got the higher open, and in my system, I talk about this. I'm like, if we get a higher open, that's bullish. But if we get a higher open and it's just rejecting something and it falls out from the thing it rejected, that's an invalidation of something that's bullish, meaning now it's probably even more bearish than you could imagine. And also cool, because I like that Garden pointed out the higher open being a potential outside bar. Like, imagine this goes down today and we break this. That's an outside bar. That's what people like to look at for their bigger, clear signals on their bigger time frames, when you and me have already traded that big-ass red candle. And then in the understanding the next day is probably going to be a reset day. And then the next day is going to probably be another great, exciting day, because we understand the context and in the right order it's supposed to appear in. Anything outside of that, we take that as a caution of, oh shit, I need to chill. This is getting weird. Whether it's volatility, Trump-related, news-related, China-related, I don't give a fuck. Something was indicated to us that this is not right, you know? That needs to be our signal to ourselves. Hey, let me chill. Oh, a lot of talking. Cindy Lou who? Yeah, Cindy Lou, sorry. I didn't want to read chat because I knew I'd like go off topic and I'd forget what I was talking about, so I just stared at my screen. But I'm reading the YouTube chat again. The importance of a certain area / level is key too. No, 100%. It amazed me. I had I'm not gonna name names, but I stream in here a lot. I think we can all agree on that. And yeah, there's times where I'm not, but I think we can all still agree I stream a lot. And when I'm in here, I'm not just sitting here quietly. I don't know how to shut the fuck up when I'm in here. I'm always going over things if we're not trading something. And even when we are trading something, I don't shut up. Because I feel the need to always have to cover something that's like constructive in these streams. So you guys are getting something out of it. You know, it's not just catch the call outs. It's also some constructive shit. But I had a couple people from the chat over the past couple months, and again, I'm not naming names. I'm not even really mad. I took it as a sign. If anything, it was like an indication to me, like, oh shit, we need to cover some basics again. But you guys know just as well as I what the most important levels of the system are. I go over them almost every single stream as if it was the first time I was covering it. But today's open, the 50%. You know, if there's a 50% of a gap up or a gap down or of the previous day, and then your current day open, those are almost always our highest priority levels. And we have so many videos and streams on me covering this and stuff, so I don't even want to get into that and be like, here, watch this. You know, I'd rather just go over it again because it's not like that big of a deal. And it is very important. It's a very important part of the system. So please don't take it personal if I'm like, wow, you didn't know that? It's not that big of a deal, but it is a big deal because it's pretty important. It's what we use to kind of set our initial direction for the day or even for the moment. A lot of those levels are direction deciding levels. Again, that's the gap up 50%, the previous day 50%, so your high to your low, or low to high, however you want to draw it. The math is the same. And then, of course, your current day open. And then everything else is secondary to that. And you'll see me explain that as we go over these things. Like, oh, we're higher open. You know, this should be going up. Oh, but we broke under the level, so now that invalidates, it creates more bearish pressure to go down to, well, of course, previous day high. We see that clear as day. But of the gap up, 50%. Your average Joe is not going to be watching 683.83. Also, he's not going to be using it in the way that we're using it. I didn't just see it break today. I didn't even see it do anything today. So the Bears had complete control of that level. There was no sign of struggle there. They didn't even try to defend themselves. They just said, Yeah, here, take all our belongings. And also, now that you've seen that context, you can start to potentially call out, oh, well, this is a good spot where lower highs can pop up. Now, I can short this if I want with good risk, knowing if it gets above this, I'm out. You'll start to create better risk trades for yourself. And then zoom down to the 1 minute or the 2 minute, whatever you like. See if you can micromanage it a little bit better after already making the decision to be in or out. If it isn't PDL, PDH, PDCP, I've tried to avoid. Extremely helpful. Very helpful. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I feel a bit rusty. B, never shut up. And awesome. So we can bring our first post onto the stream, which we already went over some stuff with Devontae. I'm really happy you guys are already kind of kicking that shit off. We got a good post here by Carter, though. From our new channel here, BB Workshop. Which, again, if you guys don't know what this is going to be this new one-on-one type channel where it's more public to the stream. Because I have a lot of you guys that try to do this in my DMs, and I don't mind it. But I'd really like to share that stuff in the light of other people around as well, so they could learn. Because I have tons of people who ask repeat questions, and it's not like it annoys me. It's just like I'm answering the same shit a bunch, so I like to go over it in front of everybody. So that's why we created this, and everybody has access to watch this from Premium Lifetime in the main part of the group. And then, of course, you guys here in the stream. But I made sure that only Devontae and Carter had perms to actually type stuff first. Everybody else could spectate. And then over time, we'll invite more people to join in on this. So they can come in here and pretty much post whatever the hell they want. And just to kind of remind me, hey, Bueller, go look at my shit, dude. So let's look at Carter's. And they're doing a good job, too, because they're making it easy on me. You know, I really like when you guys post your trade reviews. I like having all the context. Like, I don't care how long it is. I read trade reviews like that. I read usernames trades. Like, I read the longest trade reviews in here. So trust me, if you just keep it simple, I'll probably enjoy myself while going through it. Even if it's not like the craziest trade, because you keeping it simple, making it easy to read is also a little bit enjoyable. Entry on white, exited orange. The strong showing of sellers since the open, which was above previous day high and lost. So he's giving himself that context. Something that was bullish is now fucked and probably bearish. Waited for a lower high in a good area. So, understanding he has a bearish trigger, he doesn't just get in on it instantly. He doesn't just jump in the first side of an entry. Nope. He waits. He waits till he has something that kind of gives him a secondary thing to be like, hey, this is bearish still. So he can take a safer bearish trade. 5-minute inverted hammer at the 2-day ago control point. Just after a hammer tried to hold for buyers. And they lost the previous day control point again, which is, again, if you see anybody in my chat say control point, they're just saying a halfway point. So he's saying the previous day halfway point. Sold into some momentum towards the 679.91 level. A 1 DTE 23%. Let's look at this. Honestly, you did really good here. This took a lot of patience because you had to get under the PDCP. Which the only other trade you could have probably taken, which, like I said, I don't know if I would have taken this. It was kind of hard to take this because they're just both so early in the day. They're so obvious, you know. One's breaking previous day high after the higher open, and one's breaking the gap up 50%. It's like, is this too good to be true? So I actually have some mad respect for you waiting for that. Because I talked about it in the stream, so it's easier for me to say, but I know some people would look at that and be like, oh, I gotta get in. And then even if they would have made money, they still would have been like, damn, I felt a little bit rushed on that. You know, it still would have felt a little dirty, as username would like to call it, dirty money. No, but nice. Like I covered in the stream, I really like your context. Like, this was like, all right, I'm bearish. All right, I got a more passive thing from my being already bearish. This is happening now. This is like you're giving yourself more context from bearish. Oh, I'm in bearish. Oh, more things happen. Nice, I'm good. Nice, more things happen. I'm good. And then you sold into momentum. You didn't wait for a fucking big green hammer to appear and be like, all right, I'll get out. You decided to get out on a red candle that was approaching one of your levels, which is very smart. Good shit, Carter. Honestly, this is a very fire, like, first post in here. Bet, you're good, Devontae. Oh, and I didn't cut the contract selection thing out of the stream. I should have at least saved what time we covered that in here. I guess I'll just type it. Stop loss. Oh yeah, yeah, you need to add that too. Oh, okay, never mind. Well, honestly, when you typed the two day ago PDCP or 2 day ago CP, I was like, oh, okay, he this is probably gonna be like his risk point. So it made sense when reading it though. So even though you didn't type that, it still made sense. Mine was a 680. Okay, nice. And y'all, I'll probably look at like contracts and shit like later on in the day just to see like what actually happened for your contracts, if anything weird happened. But I'm here to go over the bulk of it, like this stuff. So good shit, Carter. Good timely post. And now you're in a part of the day where, Carter, you could honestly just chill. Like, you could get some more mental reps, try to go through the market, go check out a couple tickers you haven't looked at. Like, explore your horizons. Great start to the week, though. And then at the end of the day, Carter and Devontae, both of you should probably look at SPY again, or whatever charts, probably SPY. And do like a detailed review like I do for yourself. You don't need to like type it up or anything, but you could just do it for yourself, like for these. Like do something like this for yourself, where you kind of talk about what happened today and what kind of context could that tell us about for tomorrow's potential. Try to do some forward thinking. I have a lot of people in my chat who are really, really good at it, so I want to see you guys practice that too. Which I know both of you know what I'm talking about, so we'll do. Bet. That's what I love to see. I've been working to stick mostly 1 DTEs over the same days for... That's not a problem. That's a great idea, actually. I wouldn't go too much farther unless you're doing, like, a same week. But that's not a bad idea. 1 DTE's math is actually a little bit more, like, set. Whereas your same days are a little bit more volatile, so they move more. But I guess that makes sense. Obviously. And yeah, and I was going to say that probably leads to this point right here. You said you struggle with emotions on the same days. That's probably why. It's probably because they're just a little bit more volatile. Because they're going to move a lot more on uncertainty. Whereas your 1 DTEs aren't as much, but they are also in a pretty high level amount of uncertainty just because of the amount of time. Oh. I like this channel. I asked ChatGPT what I should name it. It said workshop. Funny, right? How it named it workshop. I didn't even tell it we do workshop videos. Alright, well, I'll let y'all get to that. And remember, end of day, check those reviews for yourselves so you can kind of come up with a good idea with what tomorrow can do. And then tomorrow, or sorry, not tomorrow, today, like later today, in that same channel, you'll see me do the review and the update and see how close are you to me on what we think about tomorrow. Because I'll be honest with you, if we make an outside bar today, the probability increases of tomorrow being an inside bar. Or reset day, as I like to call it. But if we hold the 680 level here today as low of day, and we do kind of maintain under 686 and between 680, tomorrow is Scott can do anything. They can do anything. We could have another really good higher or lower open day that gets reset or something. Some good retest trades down. Or maybe like today where it gives us a good initial trend and then we just kind of trade off of that trend. Wouldn't mind seeing that either. Yo, what's up, Big Chillin' today? What's up, Kevo? Always a good time when we see that name pop up. What is going on, brother? Oh, Devontae posted. One and done, like you mentioned, it's Monday, solid start to the week. Exactly. You have a really good momentum start. Not just because you want to trade, but also because, like, you kind of, I mean, if we're being honest, you had complete control of that shit. So good shit. That's a good feeling. I had same strike as you, 680. Oh, nice. Y'all did good on that. Hindsight, now I could say I was too focused on the 1 minute and didn't check the other time frames. I mean, honestly, once you've entered and you kind of set your stone on, like, what you're going to... Let's say you're in a trade and you really like it. You still need to set a spot for, okay, well, if this pops, I need to get out of this. Not just for my contract, but for my trade sake. Because if it would have held here, actually, it's good you got out of that. Because if this was a retest of a 90% entry here, this could have pumped up to the overnight 50% like some of us thought. So I actually don't hate you how that you cut that. I think you were a little too late to enter, though, I'll be honest. I think you're a little late, but I don't hate what you did when you did enter, because if you would have just kept holding that, you would have been fucked. You didn't know that was going to go back down. None of us did. Some of us were even thinking this was going to go up to the 50% like you have here marked. Meaning very bad. But let's see what you said here. I like how the woman had this hammer under the previous day close, so I got in. Yeah, it did. That is true. Still watching the 1 minute. We started looking like we were making our way back up, so I cut. This move was the 5-minute hammer, though. I could have had a looser stop loss and would have had a winning trade. Oh, I see what you're saying. You could have stuck in because of what was already there. Yeah. It just sucks because this is what he traded, was right here. It sucked because like I went over this live in the stream too, but it was like already kind of too late. Like for someone who was probably already like trying to trade that, because I didn't like it until this candle, like to get in, because it did this without me, and then this little bit of stuff picked up, and I understand liking it for a possible dip buy, but remember what I covered this actually very detailed in one of last week's streams, but not entering on the first thing, right? So let's say this level I want to buy the dip on, right? Let's just say it's like this level. I'm not going to enter on the first thing that touches it, right? Is it good risk reward because I'm buying it like very early on? Yeah, probably. But do I have certainty on where it can go? No, not at all. Because it's the first time it's happened, right? The thing you want to look for is the higher low of that first thing, right? So if that first thing, this is what we call an impulse move. What is going on? This is like an impulse move. Then it comes back down, then it catches the higher low. You're looking for the 50% of the low to the high of this move on this side, right? Which that didn't happen. So you just need to correct that. You tried taking a buy the dip trade, and I don't hate that you went for that. But I don't like that you didn't wait for the right part of it to get in. Because it's like this, actually. Like, see how this happened, and now we're getting an impulse move? This is the first thing now. And now you could almost be looking at that for... I mean, I wouldn't be entering that. We're under 683. But if we didn't have this resistance right here, you know what I mean? Like, this is more or less what you want to be looking for. It's kind of hard to pick out that example because there's a resistance right there. It's probably going to be hard to notice that. But I hope that makes sense. And honestly, thank you for posting this. I don't want to just see you guys when you're at your best. I want to also see, like I've seen, like we just got off of Carter having some struggles, and now he's come back and kind of getting his momentum back. Like, I don't want to see just good stuff from you guys. Like, sometimes you're going to lose trades. That's okay. But we need to make sense of why we lost it or why we may have thought it was a good time to get in. And honestly, looking at this, I think you're late on taking a bearish trade. And then on the other hand, I think you were, like, if you were trying to long this, you were like way too horny. You need to wait for this. I know you weren't trying to. I'm trying to cover both sides in case you did try to. But same applies for going back down. Like, it already kind of did its thing. We're waiting for that second thing to appear to go back down again. Like, your stop loss was like probably around my entry. That's what I'm trying to cover. We were entering around this area for it to go down. But I do appreciate you pushing this because we don't just need to be going over things that are like, oh wow, look how great I am. You know, if one of us mess up, we need to go over it. Also, very clean to read. This was like so freaking easy to read. You see what I'm talking about, guys? I can go to Carter's review. Super clean to read. I can go to Devontae's review. Super clean to read. Doesn't take me but 2 seconds to understand what he's doing. Thank you for the clarity on it. Thank you for posting it, bro. Seriously. I want to keep this as, like, positive reinforcement as I can. I'm not trying to, like, make it to where, like, we're criticizing each other. Like, yo, fuck you, man. Don't you say my trade sucks. You know, it's not about that. So thank you for joining in on that. But yeah, so we got to go over what you did. We covered a couple things maybe you could, you know, do a little better on or be on the lookout for. But overall, that wasn't that bad, honestly. I give it a 4 out of 10. 4.5. And then Carter on your trade, I guess we'll give it a... I'd probably give that a 6.5 or a 7. It's a really good quality setup, and you were patient enough to wait for it. And see, we can work with that. Again, thank you guys, both Carter and Devontae, for posting. Keep it up. And remember, both of you, end of day today, like I said already, do your little review for yourself. Like, look at the market, what happened to SPY. And then later on in the chat, we can kind of compare our notes. Be like, all right, this is what we did today. This is what I think we can potentially do tomorrow if this happens or that happens. You know, go over the triggers. What are the key levels for the next day? Yeah, shit like that. But good job, though, guys. Thank you. I had no doubt in my mind that you two would kick ass. All right, sorry, guys. Reading YouTube chat again. Like I said, if I read YouTube chat while I'm trying to cover something, I'll go off topic, and then I'll forget all the cool shit I was going to say. I'm so happy, B. Woke up late today. Missed one entry on my system. Waited for the next setup. Hit the scalp off the lows 1 minute. Dude, good shit having the patience to wait. Good job. Seriously, round of applause for Benny here. Good shit. Big week this past one. Do I see more downside coming? If you see a rejection of... sorry about my arrows. This is at the beginning of the day. We're kind of focused on the outside of this larger area now that we've made this move. But inside of the area, any rejection that goes up to this 50% level here, this one right here, if it goes up to this and rejects this, you could see more downside after that. Or even some early struggles here. Maybe they don't even make it up to that. So you could still see that happening. But ever since we made this move down, and now we've made this impulse move up and no breakdown again of that, and we've moved up again, it almost brings to question if we need to go up and tap something first before making the next decision. So is downside possible? Yes. But 680 has been stubborn the past 3 sessions. Same thing for the upside, though. I don't want to make it seem like this is only bullish. Like, bears are also having fun. They've had a great time rejecting this area the past 3 sessions, just like the bulls have had a great time holding the lows. So in reality, this is kind of like what you're looking for. And then really, you could almost do this with it. If it doesn't break it, it goes up. If it doesn't break it, it goes down type thing. That's not what I meant to do. So it's kind of like that. But I don't like to confuse people with like a shit ton of arrows. I just like to cover it for like the beginning so we can kind of take context away from it, and then from there we go. What else? Here for the big boy stuff. We were covering it. If you missed anything from the stream, just go back a little bit. We were covering a lot of different things, honestly. We talked about contract selection with Devontae. Great question by him. Got to cover some cool stuff by Carter and Devontae from the Workshop channel, which I really hope people enjoy that because I'm honestly having fun with it. And I think it's going to be a good little growth group for me and him, those two. And maybe we add some other nerds down the road, but for now, this is fine. Spy move, knight f6, knight takes bishop. You missed Knockstad. He's still around. He actually typed not that long ago on Lifetime channel. He's just busy. Him and some of the guys in chat have like grown up and gotten like career type jobs. So some of them get busy. But I'm happy for them, honestly. I like that we have a bunch of people like that that can just dip in and out of chat whenever they feel like it. Same. Tobias. I miss Tobias. You need to be better with time on Sunday for... Yeah, I was just out of it, man. Honestly, there's nothing against you. I was just out of it. Interesting spot here. Yeah, this is a very high impact area for sure. Because remember, this is where we were like, I'll just fix this arrow. But this is where we were like, this is where it could go more from, you know? So now that they've retaken this, it's almost begging the question, like, does this bring a pump into the 50% now, you know? So I agree. Very high impact area we're in right now for the spy. Hope you're doing good, by the way, Kevo. Hope you're having a great day. And you too, Fipo. You too, Fipo. Hope everybody in here is having a great day so far. Yes, sir. All good here. Very happy to hear. Swinging BA tomorrow and the rest of the week. It has to hold 202 and 201 for me to remain bullish. Going light today. Ooh. Don't mind if I do take a peek. Oh, okay. You're going for some good short-term risky trade. I like it. Good to have you back. Thank you, man. They sold Tesla 469.42. Yeah, but they went up a bunch. I'm honestly impressed with this because this is like one of the few charts I had set to go for the day. I'll just show proof so no one's like, yo, you're lying. I posted SPX, Tesla, and IWM. And my main trigger was for it to just go above this level. And again, the main reason I found that to even like it was just because it looked good on the daily. I was like, I just like that it's kind of popping up off that candle. I was like, let's see if it does anything. You know, if it doesn't, no harm. But really big move in the beginning part of the day. And since then, they just kind of settled. But yeah, they are chilling now. All-time high soon? Yeah, most likely. They got to follow Apple. Heading out, I'll check back in later. Great stream. Thank you, Devontae. You are a part of the reason it is so great, my friend. Thank you, and have a great day, brother. I will not be having a full day Monday stream, sadly. And I'll let you guys know what day this week we'll do one of the swing streams, because I do want to do another one. I'm trying to do like at least one a week. Because I don't just cover like, oh, let's get in this, guys. Like, I also cover a lot of shit just for the strategy itself. Like I said, I don't know how to shut up when I'm in here. And good looks on that, Alexis. I'll check that out end of day as well. I'll go through my scanners and stuff end of day. We'll go through Work, we'll go through 921, we'll go through 2150, and we'll go through IB. If anything pops up, I'll try to post something. If not, we'll wait till the next day. My last swing trade was a lotto on Netflix. I don't even remember my last swing trade before that because I have honestly just been either taking small scalps or just chilling. Last week, I just didn't want to swing trade because it was very risky. There was a lot of heavy, big weight SPY earnings that were reporting. Like half this list was reporting earnings last week. Just wasn't a good time to be looking at the things I like to swing. Amazon looking good to hold. Still room to run. No problem, my G. I need to get back in gear with my swings. Been busy for the past weeks. No, you're good. Honestly, last week it was probably good to be busy. But yeah, let me know. Get some, what you could do is just post like a bunch of bland charts. Wherever you want. Put it in here or put it in Lifetime or put it in post charts. I don't even care where. But just post some bland charts of like things you have potentially on watch. And then you could like repost whatever one you want for if you're actually going to take it or not. You know? I snorted my iced tea opening chat. Top of the bubble. The actual top. The tippity top. Tobias. That's actually pretty funny. Spy movement imminent. Oh, spy move imminent. Liquidity actionable signals. Yeah, I mean, if it's going to continue holding this, I wouldn't be surprised if it pumps up to this pretty quickly. Because this was the level that used for a trigger down. So if it's going to hold, it's probably going to go back up. If not, though, too, like we go back up and it doesn't go up enough and it just rejects this, you could almost use it for another down trade signal going down. This level here is pretty important, the previous day close. One of the barriers of our gap from the day. But I would like to see it go up to at least show some sort of touch of this 50%. Because we didn't do shit when we went past it the first time. We just dumped under it. No sign of, like, you know, strength there at all by buyers. No kind of fight, no nothing. So if we do go up, I'm expecting that. But this is also going to be a very close trigger for potentially going back down if we break 682s. It's a very nitpicky, tedious area right now. But like I explained earlier, it's because we're stuck inside of the 680, 686s. So it's not surprising that we're going down and testing the extremities of this range multiple days in a row. That's actually very common. $15-minute inside bar? Damn, you're not even joking. I guess I should never take it as a joke when you say it, Garden. Good mention, good mention. I won't lie, I was staring at so many 30-minute charts yesterday. I think I fell asleep with my SPY on the 30-minute last night. I just had it sitting like that. Remind myself, hey, barrier. You could almost delete this one, but I like to have the in-between information sometimes. Plus, it's pretty effective. That is indeed an inside bar on the 15, though. One Piece. Alright, let's check the likes, guys, because I didn't sell my soul at all on today's stream. Make sure to drop a like on today's stream. I do appreciate you guys sharing it around, engaging, interacting. Whatever you did today, I appreciate you. Great start to the week. Let me know how you guys thought of today's stream so far. It is only 10:17, but we did cover a lot, if I'm being honest. But hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the stuff. or at least took away something from it to use for yourself. And we'll see what the rest of the day gives us, because it will kind of impact what possibilities there are for tomorrow, based on today's candle. But today is honestly a repeat of Friday's price action. It is identical. Higher open, pulled back very clearly, touched the 680, and with the potential of pumping with an end of day move. It's all exactly what happened on Friday. I wasn't even here, but that's exactly what happened. Take a peek yourself. Come on, buyers. See if you can go smack that 50%. I need to post my trade review, don't I? You grabbed calls, 680, 80s at 115. Great delta, too. Good looks, bro. Good looks. My bad. I'm about to do my trade review so I can post it in the chat. Till I get satisfied. Mm-hmm. 9, 14. Yeah. Which candle is that? 12, 13, 14. Bum, 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 bum. I have this song stuck in my freaking head, dude. You know a rumor I heard about getting a song out of your head? I heard that you have to listen to the song in like full, like beginning to end, and it'll like then go listen to other music, and it'll apparently get out of your head. But I have not gotten that to work yet. I think someone was trolling you. You have to sing the end of the song. Oh, with that song advice? Yeah, probably. You have to listen to the song a few times, then think of something else as soon as you sing the end. I got it to work one time, and then since then it's been like a psychological scam. I think someone was trolling you with that one. Yeah, I think you're right. 9:25 and 26 seconds. So I got to the middle of that candle. What the heck? All right, sorry, I got all that posted. All right. Getting ready to tap 680, 319. The risk reward on your entry is so nice. I was a bit late. Honestly, I just got kind of lucky because I was reading chat and I was looking at this and I wanted to enter, but I was like, that's too early. But then I saw this on the 5, and then it was like, all right, let's go to that now after it happened on the 5. Which I keep fucking losing the place on the chart. I think it's 925 something. No, 910. 925 is exit. So after 910, which is this candle, I wait to see one more bearish signal, and I see it here. So then I get the next candle. So I pretty much use my own strategy, is what I was explaining. I found a bearish thing, and then I used the bearish thing of the bearish thing to get in. So I was like super passive, but I was also just on time. So it looks like I got like the craziest entry, but I just got good timing. Not every trade will be like that, sadly. What does my dog want? What? Alright, sorry, my dog's messing with me now. I was a bit late. Oh man, Bueller on the 1 minute, yes. To be fair, I actually switch between time frames a lot. I can't just do one. Like that thing you do where you switch from the 15 to the 1 or the 5 to 1. I think it was 15. I do that all the time. I do it from the weekly to the daily. I do it from the daily to the 30-minute. I do it from the 15-minute to the 1. I do it from the 5 to the 1. I think the 5 to the 1 is my favorite for scalping, though. And then just the daily time frame by itself is my favorite for swings. But that's been my bread and butter for a while. I just don't always switch down to the 1 because sometimes you just don't need to. Sometimes it's just like, okay, I like that. I'm just going to get in. So sometimes I'm just a little too lazy to switch, but that is the mindset I'm in. What you're doing is like exactly what I like to do. It also just logically makes the most sense. And I feel like it gives you good timings. OB15, see how it closes. But yeah, Benny, I got you. I'm representing. Someone's got to represent the 1 minute traders out here. I like it for like accurate entries and exits. But the 5 minutes should be what you focus on. Or like a larger time frame, like 10 or 15. Quit trying to take my socks. Oh, man. She keeps messing with me. How is everybody in the stream so far, though? Good callouts, by the way, Garden. Inside to outside. I know, bro, Benny, isn't it a great feeling? Green with no pressure to do more, enjoying watching price action and seeing the system work out. Like, just overall, just like, it's a vibe. It's an immaculate vibe, my friend. And you worked for it, man. You earned it. You deserve to have days like that where you're sitting pretty, chilling. Benny, maybe you could be one of the next guys we include into the workshop thing. I don't have any plans on including anybody new, like, super soon, but I wanted to have at least people in the back of my mind.
Fucking Sinful is funny, man. I'm all up for it now that I have a process and actually learning and backtesting and all this boring stuff that wasn't as fun when I was unprofitable. That's funny. It's not even just because like you were unprofitable. It really was the first part of what you said. Like that probably made it worse. Don't get me wrong, but it really sucks when you don't really know what you're looking for or what triggers are supposed to be set for yourself. Like when you and me were talking that day about like the CDO, the current day open, and like the 50%, like how we use those to be directional. Like imagine not knowing that or not. It's not even that if you know it or not. It's just like, do you trust it or not? Like, do you use it or not? Because imagine if you just like enter the market with no type of thinking. What would you do? What would we even do? Would it just be like a random set of results, or like what would happen? We'd probably get lucky, unlucky. We'd probably make all kinds of guesses. So it's kind of nice to have something to base off of, and I think that's what makes it a little bit more fun and enjoyable. It's just like you have something to work off of. You feel constructive, but not super bent down from like having to get results. It's like sometimes it is just like trying to make sense of something. But I'm happy to hear it, Benny, and I'd gladly have you in as the next one. So I'll let you know, but I'm at least glad to have you on the list so we can put you in there. You have access to like read it and stuff and watch it all and stuff, but to actually like go in there and include some of your trades and stuff, like I would love to have you in there as one of the next people. And it's not really like a mentorship thing either. I just called it like a one-on-one thing. It's not really like that. I don't want it to be like, yo, Devontae Carter, you guys fucked up on this. Make sure you're doing this better. Like, we'll go over some stuff like that and be constructive about it, but it's not like a mentorship thing. It's just to kind of keep ourselves in line. And I also just like shedding light on some of my hard workers in the chat. I think this would be a cool way of doing it. Because it's not just about me. It's about tons of people in the community that are kicking ass using the same methods as me. Super cool. Keeping it simple, making sense of it, abusing it as much as they can, I love it. Abusing it in a good way, of course. I know you probably shouldn't use that word that way. You know how people are these days. I gotta watch myself. People shocking their dogs on the internet these days. Bloomin' Energy, 52-week high. Great call out, Sand Dollar. And I can say that because it's on our... Let me hide these so we can truly put some highlight on this. The best shit ever watch list. And look at that. BE's actually the only green one on it today. Straight fire from you, dude. There's moments in time where I don't even know if my boy Sand Dollar can lose. I don't think he knows loss. He only knows achievement and ground gained. He's the kind of guy that doesn't look back when an explosive happens behind him. Bro, don't even look. Consumer discretionary? Bro, I tried telling people about comms and discretionary. Tech did their thing. It's time to look at others. But good work, bro, on BE. And your other picks as well. It's not just BE from your list that's doing well. All right, guys, we are approaching, or we're already past 10:30. Actually, I think I need to end my stream here because I need to go play with my dog. She is energetic. I'll let you guys know in the Levels and Swings channel if I post a new swing today. If I have anything on watch, I'll post it. What else? Make sure you guys go in here and post your reviews. Lead by example. Eric posted, Carter posted, I even posted. So take your time to go through this stuff. I would definitely check out this post too if you haven't, just to get a good game plan. You can also click the top of the messages here, and it'll take you to the previous one, which I guess I didn't do it on that one. But you can go back in time. See, this is almost a month ago now. You can really start the story from the beginning how you want. But guys, I'll see you later on. Have a great rest of your day. And if you have anything to share, please feel free to share it in the Discord. Share it with some of your peers. And yeah, see you guys later on. I'll make sure to have the update and review posted later. And yeah, have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys again for the stream.